What's good, Wizards fans? Welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, with my guy, Brandon Scott. The Wizards lost to the Thunder on Friday night, 127-110. We're going to talk about why they lost that game and how they lost it. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Brandon. So that game, it was an awful game to watch. The Wizards lost 127-110 against the Thunder. What was your biggest reason for the loss on Friday night? I just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you guys get podcasts.
Oh man, ugly game, man, ugly game. If I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be turnovers. 20 turnovers. Anytime you commit 20 turnovers, you're going to, chances are, lose that game. And they capitalized off of it. 32 points off turnovers. So they definitely capitalized. The zone, again, it felt like we were befuddled by the zone. They dared us to shoot, and it showed. We were back to, we came back down to earth. We shot 29%. So 3-point shot wasn't there. Turnovers, sloppy basketball. A lot of sloppy basketball. Fast break. They sped the pace on us, and we just, defensively, we've had issues with transition defense all season long, and communication on the defensive end, and it showed. We just couldn't transition D. They capitalized 16 points off of fast break points. So this is just, man, this was a winnable game, and it's just sloppy basketball. The ball movement was very sloppy. Again, we've been saying how a lot of their passes are choreographed. And they're slow passes, they're choreographed passes. Oklahoma City, they did their homework. They really did, because this was really a coaching loss too, in my opinion, because the coach for the Thunder, he did his homework. He really did, because number one, Rui, 5 points. He shot 6 for 9 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. So if you look at Rui's play style, the fact that he is such a score first, ball dominant player, they capitalized on him. They dared him to shoot. They got in his face. Denny struggled also, 4 points off the bench. So looking at this bench lineup, Will the Thrill was the best player on the bench. I know it's been a while since we've heard that, but Will the Thrill, 14 points, 5 for 8 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3. So Will Barton showed up. He got playing minutes. Now I don't know how much is the team showcasing him for a trade, because as you know, with that salary, he could be a salary filler in a potential trade. But looking at the starting unit, Morris 10 points, Kispert again underwhelming 7 points. He's got to step up. He really has to be that another scorer on the first unit for this team. Kuzma, 23 points, efficient. He shot 50% from the field, 2 from 5 from 3. So Kuzma did show up tonight. KP, not his best shooting night. He struggled. I believe it was 3 from 11 from the field. He did contribute 14 points, 10 boards, so he did get the rebounds, but he struggled. His shot did struggle tonight. And Gav, 15 points, 9 rebounds, but he did have his struggles tonight. So overall, again, we say this a lot. This was a team loss. Just sloppy basketball. They have to show up the sloppy basketball, because when you go against these teams that are trying to contend, they're going to capitalize off of these turnovers. And Oklahoma City, they did their homework tonight. This was a coaching win as much as it was a win for their players.
Definitely, SGA, he had another night that he always has against the Wizards, 30 points. We talked about how he, beat us the last game with that game winner, 30 points again against the Wizards. The Thunder, they just looked like they had more energy. They came out, they punched us in the mouth. Guys wearing headbands, and, I don't have anything. Rue was wearing a headband. I think Kuz was wearing a headband. Somebody else who doesn't normally wear a head, like, I just think the team, they came out, the Wizards came out kind of loose and lackadaisical. They just came out slow, and the Thunder, they were running and gunning. Jalen Williams, he was running the floor, getting easy baskets. Giddey was pushing the pace. SGA pushing the pace. Lou Dort. They just look more athletic than us. They look like they wanted it more. They look like the more athletic team, the more physical team for sure. Like you said, turnovers were terrible. We had 20 turnovers, losing the ball. We just don't know how to play against the zone. We struggled against the zone the whole year. Wes, he doesn't know how to beat his zone or call plays to beat his zone. We just struggle with that. I thought they did a good job against Porzingis too. They were physical with Porzingis. One guy, it wasn't Muscala, but it was another guy. I think it was Kenrick Williams. He blocked Porzingis' shot, and Porzingis didn't even play. He barely played in the fourth quarter. I don't think he played the whole fourth quarter at all. Wes just stuck with Gaff. because I thought I got to tip my cap to the Thunder. I thought they did a good job against Porzingis, and I thought this was a game where Porzingis should have went out there and dominated. Should have had 20, 25, 30 points. Muscala's 6'11". The Thunder don't have any bigs really over 6'11" at all on the roster, and I was like, hey, this is a game where Porzingis should dominate. But overall, from a team standpoint, yeah, they just came out lackadaisical and slow. Whatever turnover we had, the Thunder, they capitalized and they ran. And whenever we missed shots, if we had poor shot selection, excuse me, the Thunder went out and they ran too. They were killing us on the boards too. Dort was killing us on the boards. The Thunder, the stats only show 11 offensive rebounds, but they definitely got some offensive boards when they needed them. We struggled from the 3-point line, 7 for 24. And we tried to come back in the end, but of course it's too late. We always do that. We'll get down and by 20, and then we try to come back, and it's just way too late. We were down by 27 at one point. So it was a tough watch. It was a really hard game to watch. I think Gaff had one of his better games, 15-9. Porzingis struggled, 3 for 11 from the field. Corey Kispert, he gave effort, 7 points. Kuzma, 23 points. Rui struggled, had one of his worst nights of the season so far. Will Barton, like you said, he was on one bright spot, but I'm not going to say it was garbage time or garbage minutes, but when he came in, yes, he did provide somewhat of a spark, but of course it ended up being a blowout. Denny struggled too. He had 2 turnovers, 4 points. He couldn't really get in the rhythm going. DeLon Wright, he had some effort, 9 points. Jordan Goodwin was one of the few guys that show energy, kind of yelling and show some fire, trying to get on the ground for some steals, had 4 assists, 2 steals. He had 1 steal, DeLon Wright had 2 steals, and I thought Jordan Goodwin would try to get on the floor and dive for some loose basketballs, and that's the only positive really I took away was probably Jordan Goodwin, and Will Barton played well in the second half where, he can showcase for a trade. So maybe some other teams are watching where his trade value could go up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to go ahead and retire the headbands, man, because I don't think it's working. But it was an ugly win. Ugly loss. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a team loss. The sloppiness. I feel like sometimes we play down, and we've been guilty for that for a lot. Last season we were guilty for that. Many seasons. I mean, we play down to opponents. We look good against contending teams. When we played Philly and other contending teams, we played well, but we often play down to these opponents. Look, this is a winnable game. They don't have any real threat in the paint. So the fact that KP had, I can tell you why he struggled, because he relies way too much on that jump shot. Way too much on the jump shot. He's 7'3". Your jump shot should not be your first weapon. Now, if it's available, if you have that shot, take it. But it feels to me he's very fast as far as pulling that trigger on the jump shot. And it shows when he's having an off shooting night. It shows. But like you said, Gaff. I mean, I feel like Gaff has been playing very well. I feel a lot better going into the offseason with him being here on an extension because he shows energy in the paint. Now he can't. He does tend to get into foul trouble, but I mean, 15 points, 9 boards. So and like you said, Barton showed up. I mean, I definitely think he's going to be a salary filler. I don't think he's going to be here past the deadline. I think they're going to give him minutes to show teams what he can do. And he can be a spark plug off the bench when he's on, but when he's off, he is off. So, I mean, it's not much really good to say about this game, man, because it was a very ugly game, man. So, yeah, looking over stats, real quick, team stats. I mean, 48% for field goal, but for 3-point shot, free throws. Again, struggle with free throws. 27 for 36. Not we lost by 17, so that's 9 points right there. That's a closer game. I mean, you have to really start hitting these free throws. You cannot miss that many free throws. I mean, you're not going to hit them all. I get it, but we're bad for missing free throws, and we're bad for missing clutch free throws. Rebounding, we actually out-rebounded them 46-41, but assists 30-21. We were down. And then it showed this team. Their passing was fluid. They passed the ball well, and the zone continues to be an issue for us. We are on the moon when it comes to the zone, man. I mean, because they're challenging us, our guys to shoot, and we're not a good 3-point shooting team. Mm-hmm. So that's how you beat us, even with this tall lineup. We got exposed tonight. OKC exposed us because all they did was say, "Hey, go ahead, shoot." Because both of us have said it time and time again, man, that the best way you beat a zone is fluid passing, fast passing, and we are very slow in passing. We choreograph passing, and when the ball movement is poor, very often than not we lose that game So, yeah, I that's about all I got for this game, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they didn't move the ball a lot, only 21 assists, and the Thunder had 30. The Thunder had 32 points off turnovers. We had 9. So that's a big difference right there. And we gave 66 points in the paint. We're going to talk a little bit more about the game, and then we'll do a preview and probably look at the next couple of games for the week, and then we'll wrap it up. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Go to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who'll do them for you. TurboTax experts can relieve you from the stress of taxes and file for you so you can do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Unpack a moving box of not taxes. Taste not taxes. Sing not taxes a lullaby. Hope not taxes sleeps through the night. Grab a saddle and ride not taxes into the sunset. With the TurboTax 100% expert guarantee, an expert will do your taxes from start to finish so you can relax. Feels good to be done with your taxes, doesn't it? Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Visit TurboTax.com to learn more. Into it. TurboTax. Full service products only. Video meeting while expert does your taxes required. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. All right. So I mean, the only thing left I have to say is, Bill didn't play. He's gonna miss 3 games, is what the Washington Wizards have said. He's gonna miss 3 games, and that was one of the 3 games that he's gonna miss, and then they're gonna reevaluate. So I would definitely take my time with Bill. I wouldn't, rush him back per se, or maybe you have to let him sit out for 2 weeks and really see, and just, take this slow, because you don't want him to come back again and it re-aggravates another, the hamstring. Because first, both hamstrings have been injured this year. So, we don't want him to come back a little too early and then it flares up again and he's got to sit out even longer. So, but yeah, I mean, because I know we talk about whether they're better without or better with or without Bill. And this was one of the games where it's kind of like, they struggle with or without him. They did go on a lose streak without him too. But, sometimes there are some nights where they have looked better without him. I'm not going to lie. And there's some nights where you can kind of see where, hey, they could have used him. They could have used his scoring on Friday night for sure. When they couldn't score, they went on a scoring drought for like 3 minutes at one time where they just couldn't buy a basket. And like you said, with the zone, yeah, it's like a Rubik's Cube when they look at the zone. They look confused, like they've never seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure it out, man. Because look, this is the blueprint of how to beat this team. Even with this tall lineup, teams, they know to throw the zone at us. They'll dare us to shoot. And when you're not a good 3-point shooting team, that's it. The ball movement has to be more fluid. We got to show up the sloppiness. One more thing I'd like to see from this lineup would be Morris out, right in. I'd like to see DeLon Wright get some starts. I think that his defense at the point guard position could help. Monte he does what he can, but he ain't a starting point guard. He's just not it, man. I'm a big fan of Monte Morris, but not as a starter. But yeah, I mean, that's about all I got for the game, man. I mean, it's really the tail of the tape, like in boxing, man. Anytime you commit 20 turnovers and the team scores 32 points off of it, you know what I mean? That's it. So it comes down to sloppy basketball, and that's what cost us the game tonight, or the game that night. So,
Right. Yeah. Speaking of boxing, Bradley Beal, he tweeted tank with exclamation points. And I know a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, yes, we want to tank. That's what we're talking about. But no, he was actually he was tweeting about the boxer, Gervonta Tank Davis.
Oh, all man, right, the Wizards Nation had a spasm when that thing went out, man.
All right, so we'll move on to the Pelicans. The Wizards do play the Pelicans on Monday night at home. Looking at the rest of the schedule coming up this week too, they do have a home stand. They do play the Bulls at home on Wednesday. The Knicks at home on Friday. The Warriors are home on Monday. So the next 4 games are at home. The Wizards do play better at home. They shoot the ball better at home. What are your thoughts on the Pelicans? Zion's out for a little bit. Brandon Ingram has been out. They've had a couple guys out. I want to say CJ McCollum did not play against the Mavericks the other night. Yeah, this is the Pelicans starting lineup was Herbert Jones, Najee Marshall, Valanciunas, Jose Alvarado, and Trey Murphy. That was their starting 5. Garrett Temple, the former Wizard, did play against the Mavericks. The Pelicans lost 117 to 127 to the Mavericks. Willie Hernan Gomez, Jackson Hayes, Devontae Graham, Kyra Lewis Jr., Dyson Daniels, the rookie. He had 0 points, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. against the Mavericks their last game, and they got Darion Seaborn on that roster. What are your thoughts about the Pelicans and keys to victory?
A part of me wants to say this is a winnable game, but I wouldn't sleep on them. I would not sleep on them. Yeah, they're without Zion, they're without Brandon Ingram, which are big losses for the Pelicans. But and he was kind of waiting, seeing whether CJ plays. But Trey Murphy, look, he ain't no scrub. I mean, Herbert Jones ain't no scrub. Valanciunas is a Wizards killer. They could very easily win this game. I mean, because they have Dyson Daniels. I'm very interested to see how Kispert plays against Dyson Daniels, because I'm assuming they're probably going to start him at the 2. And then really you don't know, because they have a lot of players like we do that can play multiple positions. Looking at Trey Murphy and Herbert Jones. So yeah, I wouldn't sleep. They can play some basketball. I mean, this is still a lineup that can beat you. So keys of victory. I already mentioned one. I want to see how Kispert plays against Dyson Daniels. I want to see how our guys play against their reserve guys, because CJ plays. Oh, man, that's a tough matchup for Monte, because CJ, he can play some ball, man, and he's a shooter. I know he spent most of his career at the 2, but playing him at the point guard has worked for New Orleans. So, keys to victory. One is team basketball. Getting back to team basketball. We got to play as a team. No ISO. Ball movement has to be fluid. Team basketball, playing as a team. That would be one factor that would get us to win tonight. Or not tonight. Look at me. 2, man, part of me wants to say shoot better 3 points, but that ain't gonna happen. So team basketball is big. I'm gonna reiterate. 2, team defense, man. Rotating, communicating, getting back in transition, really get an attitude. Look, we have too many nice guys on this team. We were just talking about it, man. Way too many nice guys. We need to bring the dog out. We need a team full of Jordan Goodwins. Get an attitude, man. Start talking trash. Really, get tough, man. I know this game. I'm gonna bring up a couple of examples, man, with this the Laws versus OKC. Denny was bad for it. Not taking charges, letting people slide through the lane and scared of contact. Nah, man, you're gonna have to take some contact. You're gonna have to take some charges, man. You're gonna have to sacrifice. That is defense. That is that dog, man. We needed that. We don't need guys who are gonna be scared to get contact, man. Or when you're going for a layup, you're going for finesse. Nah, go in there like you're getting paid to do it. Get in there, man. I mean, it's just we got to stop with the choir boy stuff, man. We got to bring this dog out in our players, man, to get nasty, because that is half the battle. Attitude. That's how you win games like this. So I'm gonna cut it to 2. Those are the 2 keys of victory for me. I want to see offensively, I want to see fluid ball movement. On the defensive end, I want it all. We need to get back in transition. Stop lollygagging. These guys need to know their assignments on the defensive end. There shouldn't be no surprises who you're guarding. No mismatches. Really get into people's faces and make shots harder for this team. Because, like I said, New Orleans without Zion and without Brandon Ingram is still a dangerous team. Herbert Jones can play. CJ, he can play. Valanciunas, time and time again, cooks us all the time. So, yeah, those would be my keys to victory.
Yeah, transition defense was definitely a problem against the Thunder. Like you said, the Wizards are a finesse team. They don't play with a lot of physicality. They are a bunch of nice guys. We do need a mean streak. We do need to find an identity with this team, and I still don't think we really have an identity at all. Just looking at some of the numbers from the Pelicans, they're a good defensive team. I know Zion's out. Maybe he's a part of why their defense is so good. Valanciunas is a guy that will push you around. So Gafford's got to be ready. Porzingis got to be ready. There's times, like you said, Denny stepped out of the way. But, yeah, Porzingis has stepped out of the way. Giannis was just, Giannis is a madman. But at the same time, I did see Porzingis kind of just get out of the way and try to just fall down and take a little charge, kind of just half-hearted, not really stepping up and trying to take a charge. So yeah, Valanciunas, he's a guy that will push you around, and he can mess around and get 20 and 20 on you, and he can shoot the 3. So it's a tough matchup for them. But like you said, I agree with transition defense. They got to cut down on the turnovers. They were just careless with the basketball. 20 turnovers is inexcusable. It's unacceptable. The selection wasn't good, and they got to move the ball more. Kuzma, Porzingis, I don't care if they're having a good or bad night. They got to move the ball, and guys got to be ready. I think they're going to play zone 2. If CJ McCollum plays, they got to find ways to stop him, because when Zion doesn't play, he usually puts up 25, 30 points. So he's going to be a tough matchup too. So shot selection and ball movement and getting back on defense are definitely going to be keys. And obviously, free throws and, finishing the game for sure. So, but But yeah, we can go to our prediction for the game and prediction for the next three games, 4 games at home. But we're gonna get a quick word from Brandon.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all of the fat and calories? Then you gotta try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays. I know my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. Yeah. If you're like me, where you want to eat healthier, but don't want to compromise taste, then man, I got just the thing for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious you won't think they're good for you. Perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievably flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like candy bars while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein for you guys who lift. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to the nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter and churro. You can thank me later. Built Bar. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen game to game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game Today covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game Today on Locked On NBA. Available on RC app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. So, my prediction, man, because I thought we were going to blow out Oklahoma City. You saw how that went. But then I also thought that Dallas was going to beat my Commanders, man. And you saw how that went. So I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a close one. I think we pulled out 4-point win. It's going to be 104-100.
Yeah, it was a good win by the Commanders. I'm happy that they won. It's always good when we beat Dallas. I know the rivalry is kind of dying down for sure, but I'm happy. Sam looked good. I won't talk too much about the Commanders, but it was a good win. I'm happy that we beat Dallas, as always. Seeing their fans leave the stadium super early, get up out of FedEx Field. We don't want you guys there. But I have us winning this one. We were both wrong about the Thunder game. The Pelicans are a good team. Trey Murphy, he's a good young prospect. This is his second year in the league. Najee Marshall can play too. Jose Alvarado, Jonas Valanciunas. They're not big names. They're all guys that, don't usually start when Zion's there, Brandon Ingram's there. But they're all good players. Larry Nance Jr., I don't know if he's going to play or not. They got a lot of guys that are just, kind of in and out of the lineup right now. But I think the Wizards win at home. They shoot the ball better at home for some reason. Of course, they're just used to shooting at home. I just think for not Verizon Center, but whatever it's called right now, Capital One Arena, is the stadium's brighter. That might be one reason why they shoot better. I don't know why, but they just shoot better at home. I got them winning this one too. I think it's going to be close. The spread is 1.5. I got them winning probably, like 110 to 107. I think they win this game. I think Porzingis plays better. Kuzma plays better. I think Rui has a good game off the bench too.
Yeah, look, Valanciunas he's going to try Gaff, man. Whoever plays him, whether it's KP or Gaff, he's going to try him because he's a known Wizards killer and he's tough in the paint. So, I definitely want to see. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to another key to victory. I want to see Gaff. I want to see some dog out of Gaff in that center position. I want to see him really get an attitude to Valanciunas. I really do. But yeah, I think this is a winnable game. And I know we said that against the Thunder, but but it's definitely a winnable game. Now we have to take advantage of their, the guys being out because Brandon Ingram, that's a big loss. Because with him playing, that guy.
Zion too.
Oh man, Zion. I mean, so it's definitely. I don't want to say it's a blessing to hurt, man. I don't want to say that, but it's definitely a good thing for us. But so yeah, it's a winnable game, but it's gonna be a tight one. So yeah, I stand by. It's gonna be 104-100. So. Going into this homestand because we're actually going into a 4-game homestand. If you would do a win-loss record, what would yours be for this homestand?
I'm pulling the schedule up right now. Bulls, Knicks, Warriors. I'm gonna say we lose to the Bulls and we beat the Knicks and Warriors. I'm gonna say we go 3-1.
Great minds think alike. That's what I'm rolling with. I'm 3-1. I think Chicago is a winnable game. Now, Golden State, we all know how they roll, man. That's going to be a
Mhm.
hard one, man.
Yeah.
And and they always have more fans in the building than we do when they come into town. So
they got a lot of injuries too. Steph hasn't played in a while.
yeah, man, kind of changing my mind a little bit. It's tough to predict because, like you said, we thought that OKC was going to be a blowout, and they blew us out. So it's the opposite day. But yeah, I'm rolling with 3-1. I think we can come out of this 3-1. Now, a quick question before we roll. As far as the outlook for the rest of the year, do you think that we get out of this hole before the deadline? Do you think that we are a 500 and above team at the deadline?
No, I think we'll be either at 500 or below, honestly.
Yeah. So saying that, do you think that, I know it's a little early, but I mean, look, it's January, so we're getting up there. Do you think that they are going to be buyers or sellers based off what you see right now and the potential going to the deadline?
Knowing Tommy Shepard and knowing Ted Leonsis that they'll never ever take, I think they'll be buyers. I think they want to bring in a guy like John Collins or, they tried to get Colin Sexton last year. They tried to get Donovan Mitchell over the summer, allegedly. So I think they're still going to try to get some guy. They try to get Jay Crowder. They try to trade Rui for Jay Crowder. So I think Tommy Shepard, he's trying to still make the play-in or playoffs, the postseason some way, somehow. And that's what Ted wants. So I think they're going to try to make any move they can get. Maybe Colin Sexton, a point guard, Mike Conley, Fred VanVleet, whichever point guard that might be available at the deadline. I think they're going to try to trade for one. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Jay Crowder again. And then John Collins is definitely a guy I think that they're going to try and go get.
Yeah, we talked about Collins before. The only reason I see them making that move would be, the fact that he signed for a multi-year contract. You have more stability at the position. But no, I was just wondering, man, because we get to that point, and if you look, as we stand, we're 17-23. So if we go 3-1 in this homestand, you're looking at a record of 20-24. So I think somewhat better trying to get out of this hole. But like you said, it's hypotheticals because they're going to try to surround Bill, and we all know that's what it does. Now we both agree that John Collins would be more of a lateral move. Now, if they add a point guard and John Collins, maybe we're cooking a little bit, depending on who the point guard is. Colin Sexton, he's not known to be a real defensive guy. He's kind of a smaller guard who can score, but so and I was just wondering, man. So definitely appreciate everybody watching tonight, man. Definitely appreciate everybody. Close to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, so definitely like, subscribe, comment below. Check out me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, on Twitter and Instagram. Game days and off days too. We chop it up, talk basketball and football for you Commanders fans. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen game today. Eastern Conference. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game Today covers every game from across the Eastern Conference with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Games to the Game on Locked On Eastern Conference and NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. And definitely appreciate everybody. I hope everybody had a blessed and safe weekend. And let's get this dub tomorrow night. Again, tomorrow night is 7 o'clock. We play the Pelicans. It's first game of a 4-game homestand. So definitely everybody have a good night and peace. Oh, hail to the Commanders and hail to the Wizards, baby. Have a good night. Peace.